Hello. Uh, good evening. Uh, yeah, you'll get the joke there if you saw the last one. Um, yeah, today is actually Sunday, not Saturday. Sunday, the 21st of November, 2021, and I just thought I'd check in how you guys are all doing. Hope you're well. Let me know in the comments or whatever, how you're doing. What kind of week have you had? Have you done anything cool, anything interesting, anything bad happened that you want to talk about? Just feel free to share, I think this week I've definitely felt lower. I think that, combination of sort of tiredness as a result of doing a lot. I've crammed a lot into this week, so it's been really my fault, but I've done an awful lot and kind of expended an awful lot of energy, and I think a combination of that, not having the best sleeps, and the kind of, I guess, the realization of what my body has probably been noticing for the last few weeks. It's just how dark it gets, and how early it gets dark, I should say, and the kind of effects of that on your mind and your body, really. Especially as I've been waking up a lot later than I normally would, and really would like to be. I think ideally I'd get up at really about 9, but for the most part I've been getting up at like sort of 11, going to bed very late, which just means I see just a few, I guess a couple of less hours of the sun every day, which I think is definitely taking its toll, so I probably need to sort of fix that. But yeah, I think everything I've done this week has been fairly worthwhile. Definitely from sort of a people perspective. I feel like the people that I've met up with this week and hung out with and spent time with, it's been very fruitful, I think, and meaningful, for both parties. So I think that's good. Obviously, you'd have to ask the other people to get the full story, but I trust that that's true for them as well. And I've started recording the B-sides for my new single, which hopefully is going to be out in the next month. I'm aiming to release it by Christmas. I think I really have to be honest. I think it would be pretty embarrassing just from a personal perspective if I didn't do that. So trying to sort of record, the acoustic B-sides for it. I've sort of done an acoustic guitar track and a bass part for this one song. And I need to just do probably another bass part and sing it and do some harmonies and things like that. Try and sort of build it. But that's been very fun and very rewarding. Just doing that, in my bedroom, just with my laptop and my interface. So that's been good. I've been using my film camera as well, I think, a lot this week, because, I think in the last sort of 10 days really, but quite a lot this week. I've got a roll of black and white film in at the moment, because I ordered a bunch of film months ago, and they were just out of stock, and so the order was kind of on hold, and then they got some film back in stock, this company that I ordered through, and they sent me my orders, and so I've got a fair amount of film now, so I've been cracking on with that. I can show you my camera, actually. It's really nice. It's a Minolta, I think. Don't know what the exact type is, but you can see it's a Minolta at the top there. And I got a lens for it a while back, and it's sort of like, I think it's a lens that is portrait. It's sort of just more designed for portraits. So it's got an automatic focus on it, and it's really good for taking portraits apparently. So I've been taking a lot of people's portraits this week, or pictures of people basically, and that's been really, really fun, really rewarding. And photography is one of those things, especially with a film camera, that there's kind of a delayed reward, because you obviously have to wait until you get the the photos develop to see the results. But it's quite a pleasurable delay, I think. Especially in the world of sort of instant viewing of pictures, it can be quite nice. I think that's why these cameras are coming back into vogue, is because coming back into vogue, is that a phrase? Coming back into fashion because of that kind of delay, and there's the suspense, tension element to it, I think, which people like. But I certainly enjoy it, and so I've been doing that this week as well. Let me think. Doing a lot more sport, football and tennis, and just sort of trying not to sink, I think, into the kind of the eerie darkness that I think winter can so often bring. I'm sure that you've probably experienced something like that. Probably this year, but also in years gone by. It's like it can be so hard to keep your head above water, I think, when it gets so dark and cold. And if you, like me, you're a student, deadlines can get quite burdensome. And I think I just find that it's a lot easier for me to feel well during the summer. Again, I don't think this is like a unique experience, but I think that the way I always think about it is, if you think about well-being as like, it's quite a hard way to think about it, but I think sometimes when you're in certain phases of life, it can feel like you're sort of treading water. You think, I'm keeping my head above the surface pretty good. Maybe you find a raft or something that you can hold onto or whatever. Maybe if you're in a boat. But I think during the winter, it can sort of feel like sometimes you're very close to just going under, and maybe you do go under and you're gasping for breath at points. And I feel like it gets so much harder to do that during the winter months. And so I think that I would like to think that we can all kind of help each other across this next winter and be there for each other, and talk about things and talk about how we're feeling, and not hide and not suppress, not repress emotions. To be always be open and honest, and if you want to talk to me about anything, feel free to reach out. I'm sure we'll have a very good, healthy dialogue. Because like this week, I think I've definitely noticed sort of felt a lot more flat, and again, I think a lot of that is being tired. But I had periods in the summer where I was tired because I was doing more than I'm doing now, but I didn't feel low. I just felt tired. I think it's that kind of extra quality to it that distinguishes itself. It's like I'm tired, but I'm also a bit like, maybe uninspired is the word. You sort of feel like, I know all the things I'm doing are good, they're worthwhile, and they're healthy, but they don't fill me with the same kind of emotion that I would want. And maybe if I was doing these things in summer, they would. And that could be quite discomforting, uneasy, and maybe a tad depressing at times. But 8 minutes, that's not too bad. But yeah, I think that it's very important that, start now. Start talking to people about how you're feeling, because it's, it's getting towards December, and yes, it's a fun period of Christmas and things like that. But, a lot of people's mental health can start to slip and to sink and to fall. And, we've got to try and be there to sort of catch each other before it gets too bad, and, if you're thinking about, oh, should I text this person? Should I check how this person is doing? Always do it, because you obviously never know what's going to happen, and you never know what your words might, you might not know how your words might affect somebody, and the positivity that you can extend to people, and the belief you can give people, just the glimmer of hope and belief, and I think it's just feeling seen. It's like, oh, somebody's actually thought about me and checked in, and that can mean a lot to people. I know it means a lot to me, but yeah, I think I'm doing okay. so far, so good, maybe. I'm definitely happy at the moment because I've got a book of poems coming out soon, and I sort of did the final draft for it this week, and was going back and reading through all the poems, and I'm really proud of all of them, and I'm proud of how I've edited them and modified them and formatted them, and I'm really looking forward to just having it in my hands and being able to flick through a book of my own poems. That's going to be great. That's definitely helping, and instead doing this recording is really quite it's like focusing, it's like you can kind of go into a bit of a flow state, and that can be very distracting and very nourishing in a way. You do a bit of recording and there's a tangible product at the end of your work, and that can be very fulfilling. But yeah, what else have I been thinking about? Again, I've been very busy, so I've not really had any overwhelming thoughts or feelings. But yeah, yesterday one of my best friends came down to visit me, and we went out for a few drinks, as you do. And I'm still in shot. Yeah, good. So you've got my dressing gown on. It's very comfortable. It's very Sunday, isn't it? Well, I don't have my slippers on. I don't know where one of them is. But anyway, yeah, one of my best friends came to visit me yesterday and stayed over last night. And we got chatting, as we often do, about sort of dating and sort of social interaction, and how we as sort of introverts can get stuck in our heads when we're trying to connect with other people, and our minds are kind of a safe place, and so we have a tendency to sort of retreat there as a default. And it's weird because it feels good because you feel safe in yourself, but you being in your head is kind of stopping you from actually really connecting with somebody else, because like, unless you were telepathic and somebody else is telepathic, you're not actually going to experience the beauty of somebody else's mind unless you actually talk to them and kind of behave in a socially conducive manner, or a manner that is conducive to social flourishing, to social connection. So you have to engage with them, through your kind of non-verbal expression and your verbal expression, and that all does take a lot of thought, in a sense. I think for people like me it does, people who just overanalyze stuff or analyze things to the nth degree. It's worth thinking about, it's worth considering, but to actually progress, you need to learn to kind of disappear from your mind and really feel your body and breathe and just kind of instinctively go into interactions and just be present and see what happens. Trust your instincts, trust your social instincts, and I think I'm quite rusty at the moment in terms of my socializing. I've definitely noticed I'm not as sharp as I can be, have been, and would like to be. I've been a bit sort of how would you say, monastic recently. I've been very much keeping myself to myself, with the exception of spending time with people that I already know very well, so it's kind of comfortable and easy. But yeah, in the few interactions I've had with people that I don't know that well, or complete strangers, it's definitely been sort of humorous to think, well, I'm still very incompetent, in a sense. Like, I have to really work at this and really try and sharpen myself back up again, sharpen my social sword, so to speak. It's been in the scabbard for too long. And I was chatting to all my friends about this yesterday, and we ended up talking a bit about like, what is confidence, what is it? And I think something I told him a long time ago, not a long time ago, but a fair while ago, or something that I think I still believe, is that confidence is that it's more like the resultant state of a lack of fears and anxieties. You know, it's rather than like, oh, it's not like a kind of, how would you say? It's almost like a vacuum in a sense. Because really, what confidence is like you feel relaxed under pressure. That's really what I think confidence is. Because like somebody can be confident in a sense and be very kind of outgoing and strong in their being. But I think that still comes from a place of being kind of centered and okay with the situation. You think I accept the potential outcomes of this situation. I'm at peace with all of them. And that kind of groundedness, that centeredness, that peace, I think, when I am lucky enough to inhabit such a space, I think it inevitably draws people in. You know, they feel that you're just very centered and very grounded, and it's very kind of attractive. You think, what is that? Like this energy that this person is giving out is so not fraught with anxiety and not fraught with kind of worries. They're just so still and so just one. You know, they're so there and present that people can't help but I think we feel attracted to that. And that's what I think confidence really is. At least for an introverted person like me, that's where I will find the power, the social power. You know, is not in being kind of jittery and chatty and whatever. It's like, no, I'm just gonna breathe and just sit in myself and just be, you know, and see what happens. And people can either take it or leave it. Some people can be weirded out by it. Some people will be confused by it. Some people will be really intrigued by it. Some people will really be attracted to it and by it. And that's kind of the way it will end up. You know, because like whatever you do in life, people will like you and not like you, and you know, be attracted or not attracted to you. And all you can really try and do is just be yourself, be your centered self, be the most of yourself you can possibly be. And that requires kind of burning away bits of your ego, I think. And the way you do that is by stepping into your fears. It's the classic thing of everything you want is on the other side of fear. And stepping into a fearful experience that you think, but actually this is me going through this is going to help me. You have to be willing to be burnt for who you think you currently are, for parts of yourself to be burnt away and be reborn. You know, like phoenix from the ashes. It's like something emerges from the rubble of yourself that has been singed away by a fearful experience. But instead you've chosen to go through that. You've chosen to walk through the fire, and you've emerged with information and with a reference experience and hopefully with a lesson which you then take forward and use to grow. And I've done that a lot socially, you know, just putting myself in very high pressure social situations, like going out by myself and trying to integrate into a completely random social group, you know, and like with success as well, and with failure at times, you know. And it's like you have to risk being people going, yeah, we don't want to hang out with you, we don't know who you are. But all it takes is like one person in a social group to be like, this person's interesting, I'm going to let them sit down and chat to them, and suddenly you get accepted by the group. And that's just a very kind of, it's a very fortunate and it's a very useful and helpful experience, and it helps you build that sense of ease. You think, yeah, I'm okay with this going well or not going well. Yeah, that's really what I think confidence is. It's being fully aware of the potential outcomes, but then letting go of any sort of worry, thinking, I think this might go a certain way, but I don't know it's going to go. I don't know how it's going to go, so I'm not going to worry about it. Worrying is not going to help. I'm going to breathe, and I'm just going to walk into the fire and just see what happens, see how I emerge. And I think you'll often emerge less scathed than you think that you will be. That's certainly what I found. And at the very least, you'll emerge warmer than you did before, warmer in the knowledge that you strove for something greater and to expand yourself, to expand your experience, and you've learnt something about yourself, and this is only a good thing. I just realised it's now 20 minutes, so I've not really given much thought to how to end this, because like I've done in the past, I've done readings, and I played a song last time. Do I want to play a song this time? I don't know if I've quite got the energy to do a song today, to be honest. Yeah, I'm a bit too tired for that. So I guess a reading, perhaps. I got nothing to read. This is a bit unideal. Let me think what I would like to read. Maybe I don't need to do a reading. Well, I've said I'm going to do a reading now. I can't just cop out. Is there anything that I think would be good to read? You know, maybe I can remember one of my poems, perhaps. Interesting. Let me think about that for a second. You just wait there. Just sit tight. And I will find something to read you. But just like talk amongst yourselves, or I don't know, go to the loo or something. I don't know how long I'm going to be. Try and be quick. Oh, that was lucky. So, this is I think it's just one poem. I think it's just a very short poem, but it's from this book, which is, Hafez. I think he was a Persian poet, and it's called The Nightingales Are Drunk, which is the Penguin Little Black Classic. And I got it when I was 17. It says, Jonas, for an outstanding quality of analysis in your poetry anthology. So I was doing English at college, and I kind of won this basically after doing an assignment, analysing some lyrics that I'd liked, and I fell in love with Hafez's poetry greatly, and at that time as well, I was very down. I was experiencing a great deal of heartbreak and heartache, and it was winter, and I needed something to sort of help me, I guess. And there's so many great lines in this book, and I would recommend getting it just for yourself. But I think I'll just read the last poem, I think, in this book, or the last few lines. So it goes, with wine beside a gently flowing brook, this is best. Withdrawn from sorrow in some quiet nook, this is best. Our life is like a flower's that blooms for 10 short days. Bright, laughing lips, a friendly fresh-faced look. This is best. Yeah. Bright, laughing lips, a friendly, fresh-faced look. This is best. But yeah, I think I'll leave you with that, to be honest. It's not a lot of reading today, but there's something good about being understated, I think. But yeah, his poetry is a lot about wine and love. So I would recommend, if you're interested in that, to pick up a copy. This one says it's only 80p, so yeah. I hope you have a good week yourself, and comment below. Yeah. Our life is like a flower's that blooms for 10 short days. bright, laughing lips, a friendly, fresh-faced look. This is best.